So it's unfortunate that that prediction came true. I think that even if it had been offered in that sense, the politicians should have risen above it. But again, I think the GBA should be more careful about how we position our platforms so that they will not be used or abused. Sometimes when you invite somebody to speak, you can actually have some sort of arrangement or agreement with them on areas that they will not go into, just to keep the platform sacrosanct. So it's unfortunate. Somebody will say, well, politicians should do what politicians will do, but I think it was not the best. I think we can use the platform better. All that being said, look, we live in this country. The realities are clear to all of us, and whatever each party is saying, we can all see through it and take the middle ground. As far as I am concerned, the central issue is the politicization of the judiciary. I have a basic point that I think should be made. Those of us who are lawyers practicing in this country, especially those who have had some experience or some exposure to other jurisdictions, will tell you honestly that our judges most of the time rise above the fray. They rise above their own partisan inclinations. Most of our judges rule to the best of their ability according to the law, the facts, and the evidence in front of them. That said, it is not sensible for anybody to suggest that a judge who is a human being living in a society is not affected by what is going on in that society. Okay, judges vote, they have political affiliations and all of that. So when you marry that with the first statement that I've made, that regardless of those, most, the overwhelming majority are able to rise above those things. And when the facts are placed before them, more often than not, they rule according to the law and the evidence. It is also okay for the politicians to have worries. And as far as I'm concerned, the observation or the statement that President Mahama made was proper. It was necessary for a person of his standing seeking to become president to make that observation and ask the kinds of questions he asked. Nobody should hold it against him when he suggests that this may be a problem. Of course, if he puts a political spin on it and says that the opponent or the other party is appointing judges, who believe in their political, whatever, and therefore for me, I think it's a matter of course. You don't expect that they will appoint people who believe in your, political, who belong to your political persuasion. So for me, that is not a problem. But what we should be saying, when you compare that to the extreme situation of the US that you have read, is that we need to get to a point where, regardless of their political affiliation, we are getting judges or putting judges in place who will rule and continue to rule according to the law and the evidence before them. So in a sense, it's a good conversation to have. Let us not pretend that it is not necessary, it is necessary. But let us continue to work towards the higher virtues so that we'll continue to have the kinds of justice that we have. In recent years, there has been cause for worry. There has been a lot of cause for worry. The 7 zeros were very difficult for some of us to appreciate. Even if you agree with somebody, sometimes your reasons are different. And we've all read, dissenting opinions and other opinions, whether in agreement or in dissent, where very interesting points are made. This 7-0, I concur, is worrying. And then when Mr. Dobelebo was run out of office unconstitutionally and unlawfully, some of us ran to court. When the politicians fail us, when all the systems fails us, it is the judges we look up to do justice. When we ran to court, in the matter that was timeous, it was time bad, there was necessity to act in a certain quick fashion. The Supreme Court, just in complicity, decided not to take up the matter, waited for 2 years, let the damage be done, and then after 2 years, they give us a ruling that says that the president acted unlawfully. We think that those things do not work well when we start discussing issues of the partisanship of our judges. So I think it stands that the judges themselves must show that regardless of whatever political affiliation or bias they may have, it does not feature that much in their judgments. I do believe they are capable. They've done it in the past. I believe they can do it in the future. The discussion is all proper, but let us keep it within bounds, and make sure that everything we do works to that virtuous circle where even when you know the political affiliation of a judge, you can go before him trusting that he will rule based on the evidence, the facts, and the law in front of him.